Hey family, so this conversation is about, this conversation is for Dante. He asks, how do I run Facebook ads profitably? And so that was a video that he wanted, that was some content that he wanted. So I'm actually going to talk about that here in the video, because that actually requires you to actually buy a Facebook advertising course. So that way you know exactly how to set it up properly. That's not something that someone can just talk about in the video. But what I will tell you in this video from the profitable standpoint is that obviously if you're selling a product for $10 and it's costing you $15 to acquire a customer, then that means that you're not profitable at that point. But as I talked about in the other videos, how do you create a bundle around that product and then be able to, instead of have somebody come to your site $15, just spend $5 or spend $10, they're now spending $30. So now hopefully if your margins are healthy, and I talked about margins in the last video, then that means that you are profitable and now you're running Facebook ads profitably. There's been a lot of changes with Facebook advertising, and I'm about to tell you a story about me spending I think it was like $3,500 and then $2,500, and my Facebook ads still wasn't running profitably. And there was nothing wrong with the gurus or nothing wrong with the courses that I purchased. Anything, it was something wrong with me. And so I'm gonna tell you that here in a bit, because that's probably the same thing that's going on with you. And this happened to me after I've made the $2.4 million, and after I have all this information inside of my head and yada 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 yada, right? Being super smart and so on and so forth. You can still make these mistakes, and that's why it's great to have mentorship as well, because really all it did was taking me to kind of stand back and be like, okay, what am I not like? It's typically like basic stuff. It's not even like you get super deep, and you get super deep, and I was just trying to think of something super deep. So you get into the analytics, you setting up the funnels, you got heat maps on your pages. All right, so you got heat maps on your pages, you got all this stuff, right? And I'm trying to think of something else. So you in the back end, you got your Facebook ad dashboard set up. You got all of the columns. You watching the traffic. You went through. You've done all your market research. You got your interest selected. You got all of this stuff going on. You got the high end copy. You pay the copywriter. All of this type of stuff. Sending traffic through. You got your upsells. You got your downsells. You got all of this stuff set up. But one thing you don't have is congruency. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, as far as Facebook ads. How come my Facebook ads aren't converting? So do you even know what your conversion rate is on your page? That's like number one. So if 100 people come to your page and 10 of those people buy, then that means you have a 10% conversion rate. Have these people never heard of your brand before, and it's the first time that you're introducing them to your brand? And that means that you have cold traffic coming to your page. It's the first time they're seeing your stuff, and now they're coming through and they're buying your product. So if that happens, phenomenal. So, and now do the numbers work out? So now you have a 10% conversion rate on your page. That's great. But now, is it, those 100 people that came to your page, and those, the 100 people that came to your page and the 10 people that bought, did each one of those people cost you $10? Did each one of those people cost you $15 to acquire them? And that's something that you find out when you look in your Facebook ads dashboard. You see how much these people actually, how much was a cost per acquisition, or a CPA. So how much was the cost per acquisition? Was it $15? And is the product that you're selling $10? So now you have a 10% conversion rate, which is phenomenal. But every time somebody comes by and buys your product, you're actually losing $5. You're going into the negative. So that's not good. So now it goes down to like, what is your AOV, which is average order value. So like, what is your average order value? So you can't have an average order value of $10 and it's costing you $15 to acquire a customer. Again, that means that you're losing $5 every time somebody buys. So AOV, hopefully I didn't just kill a squirrel. So AOV is extremely important, because you could, if you have a high order value, if you have a high average order value, a high AOV. I was like, high average order value. Yeah. So if you have a high average order value, a high AOV, then what that means is, hold on 1 second, I'm parking. So if you have a high AOV, a high average order value, then what that means is that you could almost be, I was about to say, you could almost be effing up Facebook ads to an extent, and you're killing it. So now you have what's called return on ad spend, or most of you guys will probably know it as like an ROI. So it's like, okay, well, if I'm giving Facebook, let's say you're giving Facebook $10, and then you spend $10 on traffic, and let's say you made $100. So well, let's just say you're giving Facebook. Let's just say you're spending money on Facebook to advertise your advertisement, to advertise your ad on Facebook, and or to push your ad on Facebook, or to distribute your ad across Facebook, or to deliver your ad on Facebook. Now that your ad is out there, you're giving Facebook money for this to happen. You pay Facebook $100, and you give Facebook $100. Five people come by and buy your product. You get 5 purchases, and those 5 purchases are $100 each. You gave Facebook $100, and you gave Facebook $100, and you made $500. So that means that you have 5x, or 5 times the return on ad spend. So you gave Facebook $100 and you made $500. Facebook didn't make you $500. You made you $500 because you did the work that you needed to do, and you hired influencers. You hired influencers, people that, may only have 100 followers, or maybe they got 1,000 followers, maybe they got 10,000. But this influencer needs to be an influencer in your niche, and it needs to be a name that people in your niche recognizes to be an expert in the particular niche or the target market that you're going after. So all these things are very specific to you, and you need to have that. You need to have that in your mind. I'm gonna talk about this mindset. I gotta start writing down notes of all of these different topics to talk about. But when it comes down to, so I'll tell the story about, I'm 7 minutes in, about to be 8 minutes in. So I'll tell a story about me spending money on experts, me being the guy that's talking to you right now, and then getting this thing wrong. So there's a bunch of different concepts about how to run ads on Facebook and so on and so forth. So anyway, I found the best guy, and I had one of the best people actually sitting with me as well. And I'm trying to figure out how to run Facebook ads profitably. And so I got all of this. I got everything set up right. Basically, I'm setting everything up right. I got some influencers. So I got experts in the marketplace. Actually, like 2 or 3 experts in the marketplace, and I'm making money. So it's not that I'm not making money. So sales are coming through, but the page conversion rate wasn't converting at the rate that I'm used to, I've been spoiled. so the page wasn't converting at the higher rate. Somebody's probably thinking right now, well, like, what's a good conversion rate? A good conversion rate is 3. The people will tell you an industry standard is like at least 3%. Actually, no, the industry standard is like 1%. So you want to be, small mom and pop businesses like ourselves, we want to be at least about 3%. So I aim for like 5% or better. So this page was probably converting at like 7.5, like 6.8%. It was probably converting at, it wasn't converting at 6.8%. It's probably converting at like 3.4 or something like that. And I thought it should have converted better. And it continued to convert sales. I saw things in the marketplace. I saw comments and stuff like that coming, and I made some changes. The problem that I have, so So let me stick to the story. So anyway, sales are coming in, but the conversion rate isn't as high as I would like it to be. So I'm spending $100 and I'm making like $300, $400. So remember what I just told you earlier. So I'm spending $100 on Facebook and I'm making like $400. And um, and for all intents and purposes, everything is working. But I knew that something wasn't right. I was just like, the numbers just aren't right. And then I got everything set up, all the pixels and everything set up, and then the ads would just crash after a while. And I was just like, or something that they call, every time Facebook shows your ad to 1,000 people, that's called a CPM. So cost per milli. It's actually the Roman numeral for 1,000. So really it's like cost per 1,000. So the CPM was like $15, and it was like $50, and it was like $100. So my CPMs kept going up, and then I'm getting all of these notifications from Facebook that the landing page has issues, the landing page experience wasn't good, and all of these different things. So I pay an expert, pay another expert to look. I pay an expert to look at my Facebook ads. I'm going to a mastermind about Facebook ads, but because I am who I am now, because I am who I am even in this moment, I'm knowing that, okay, yeah, I hear all of that, but my thing specifically, that's not like, that's great. Like the content, that the information that they was given was phenomenal. And then the information in the course was phenomenal. I hired another expert. They came and it was like, oh, we'll tweak this. So I made that tweak. Boom, more sales started coming in. But it still wasn't right. It took me to sit my behind down. Now I'm at the 12-minute mark, but I'm gonna keep going. It took me sitting down and doing something that you won't believe. Reading. It took me sitting down, reading through my offer. Remember I told you guys, hire an expert copywriter, have them write your stuff. He did what he was supposed to do because I was making changes based on the marketplace, just like I told you guys to do. I had never really sat down and read what this guy had actually wrote. And when I read what he had wrote, I had been making changes around what it is that he had wrote. And because the sales was coming in, I never even thought to do it. But it wasn't until then that I was like, the process that I was going through was a process called congruency. And basically, if your ad is talking about hair extensions, obviously you're selling hair extensions. But then because it's so close, when I get to your page may actually be showing me wigs. It may be like wigs and extensions or something like that. Or it may be like wigs, extensions, and something else, some sort of other product or whatever. I kind of sort of had that problem going where I was talking about this in the ad, and on the page, the headline and this was talking about the same thing in the ad, but the actual copy itself, the actual sales copy was actually talking about something else. And that's where the problem was. So it took me, let me pause this. All right. So it took me sitting down, reading through the sales copy to realize that I had a huge congruency issue. Guess what? I took the weekend, I sat down, I revised the copy, I put it back out there. Conversion rate jumped up, sales jumped up, everything jumped up, and now I'm doing that again. So $4,000 that this guy gave, the $4,000 that I spent on this guy. Another thing too, because again, I'm so smart and I'm brilliant. I'm smart and I'm brilliant, and I got all of this information in my head. I'm a know-it-all, yada 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 yada, right? Again, I didn't read through the copy. I hired a designer. Everything that I'm telling you guys to do, I did. Hired a designer, the whole nine. I'm still in there doing stuff. I'm about to say doing stuff. I'm still in there doing stuff. And I'm putting things where they shouldn't be, like testimonials. Like this page is flooded with testimonials from customers. Those testimonials, it was okay to put them on the pages, but where I put them at was in the wrong spaces. And had I actually read through everything that that guy had gave me and actually followed the flow, because there was an actual flow and a style to the way that this guy had written this thing, and it was marvelous. The $4,000 that I paid him was worth every dime of it. And I was in there messing up what this man had. I was in there messing up what this man had wrote. And it took me sitting down here at my office, reading through it, and just sitting up there shaking my head like, this is an idiot move. Like I was like, this is a straight idiot move. So I went in, pushed all the testimonials in my situation. So there was some testimonial stuff up top, or some testimonial stuff in the middle or whatever. And that's kind of sort of how he laid the page out. And then I took all of my stuff out and dropped all the stuff that I did to the very bottom. And everything just skyrocketed like that. And now I'm on the end of having some tech issues as far as like, because I'm using ClickFunnels and I'm using a couple other different landing pages. But traffic wasn't the problem, and it wasn't a Facebook problem, and running Facebook ads profitably was really on me. It wasn't on Facebook. When you'd have looked at the numbers, it would have been like, oh, okay, all the numbers look great, but there's an issue with the landing page. And sometimes, because again, I am the business owner, I'm the guy doing the ads, and I'm also the business owner as well. So I know that it's not just me. And because I'm not really selling digital products yet, I know that it's not just me. When there's something wrong with the page, there's a lot of logistics that needs to take place too. So maybe packages need to be relabeled. Maybe inventory needs to be moved around. There's a lot of different, because I'm basically from this end, from the advertising standpoint, to the business, to actually running the actual business as well. Well, not me. I am, but I'm saying, the day-to-day, the key punching, I have people to do that. But from this part to this part. So when something is wrong over here, I understand everything that needs to happen on the logistics and on the personnel and on the management of the people that are working for me. I understand that this end is also going to be affected too. So, but I also understand in that, the point that I'm thinking about is when I said labels need to be changed, products need to be changed. That's a very real thing. And we need, and you, I understand that you need to understand that too, that you may bring a product to market that may require some rewrapping. Like everything in the inside is good, but maybe if you're selling some sort of physical product, maybe you need to rebox that thing. Maybe you need to repackage that thing to bring it to market. And if you have 1,000 of those things boxed up, and then it's like, hey, this isn't what it's supposed to be. Maybe you didn't do the right research, or maybe you now are in the marketplace, and the marketplace is like, oh no, that was cool then, but now it needs to say this. Case in point, I was looking at some supplements, and I had went to Google because I'm doing research, and I'm looking at the supplements, and Google's like, oh, the best ones have this in it. Well, guess what? That product had it in it, but I had to flip it around to look at the ingredients section to see if it had it in it. The other product had it right on the front of the label, so I didn't even have to flip it around. And that's when because I was looking at 3 at the same time, I was like, oh, well, all of these products except for one of them actually didn't have it in it, but these people didn't place it on the label up front. So all buyers aren't going to do that. They're going to look at that label and they're going to say, oh, this doesn't have it in it. But meanwhile, if you flip it on the back, you'll see that it has it inside of it in the ingredients. So sometimes we just need to repackage our stuff because there's something that's not at the front of that. There's something that's not at the front of that packaging that needs to be there. So now you need to go back to your designer, have the designer add this little seal or add this whatever it is to this product, and then boom, your sales begin to skyrocket. That's why you bring in consultants. You spend the money up front before you spend the money on the back end, and then now you don't have money. So what I typically see a lot of times is people that hit me up and they be like, yo, I want you to come in and help me out with X, Y, and Z. I tell them what the number is, and they're like, oh man, I just spent all this money up on X, Y, and Z. But you're not making no money. So you have to. So it's best for you, and that's why I'm doing these videos this way. It's best for you if you haven't, if you're just now getting started and you're getting ready to launch out there. Man, this video is going long, 20 minutes. But if you're just getting started and getting ready to launch out there, it's best for you to sit down and consult with somebody, sit down and talk to somebody, and do that planning. I know we want to jump out there and make money, but that's the problem. When you jump out there, you're going to see that there's a lot of moving parts and you don't have a lot of those things in place, versus if you talk to somebody and you plan everything out. I know that's boring. I know that's the part that we don't like, but that's the part that keeps you just riding on the incline. At one of the masterminds I was at, the guy was like, I wish more business owners called me in when their business was doing like that, versus when the business starts to plateau or starts to do like that. Because now the business owner is looking for a miracle because they're in a super tight place. And that's not good for it's not good for you, and it's not good for me, because when you're in a very tight place, you begin to start making decisions. You begin to start making stressful decisions or worried decisions, or decisions that when you're in a tight place, you're boxed in. It's like, this is my last melee, basically. You know what I'm saying? You throwing that that Hail Mary. This is like my last Hail Mary, and that's never a good space to be in. So that's what I have for the Facebook ad, the running Facebook ads traffic profitably. And to summarize, one, you need to buy a Facebook ad course. You need to buy a Facebook ad course. Probably before you buy a Facebook ad course, you need to make sure that you understand who your audience is. You have your offer dialed in. You have your offer dialed in. You understand who your audience is. You understand all of the key metrics of your audience. How old is the people that you're talking to? What type of language are you using inside of your messaging that actually talks to them? What influences this audience that you're going after? Like, all of these are the types of things that you want to be thinking about, because these things, like I told you guys, all of that research. And I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna do another video. Peace.